Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
Our headlines for you at 6 o'clock. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, the 21st of April. Our main story for you and the latest measures to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, including whether people should be told to wear masks when not at home, will be discussed by the government's Scientific Advisory Committee later today.
NHS Providers, that's the body that looks after hospital trusts in England, has warned this could lead to further shortages for staff. Andy Moore has the details.
And we will get the latest from the government on the pandemic just after 7:30 this morning, where we will be joined, as is customary actually, by a government minister. Today it's local government minister, Simon Clarke.
Elsewhere for you this morning, President Donald Trump has said he will sign an executive order to temporarily suspend all immigration to the US because of coronavirus.
Critics say the government is using the pandemic as an excuse to severely limit immigration. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has more. In other news this morning, the price of American crude oil has recovered slightly after being worth less than nothing yesterday, meaning that traders were paying to get it taken off their hands. Now, this is an extraordinary thing, isn't it? Please explain, Nina.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Good morning.
Well, fascinating. Thank you, Nina. Thank you very much.
More on that throughout the morning for you. It's 30 minutes past 6. Now, dentists in England are facing critical shortages in PPE. That's forcing patients with urgent problems to, wait for it, take matters into their own hands. That's the warning from the British Dental Association.
Practices were told to suspend routine appointments last month and set up emergency hubs instead to help slow the spread of the virus. And just to warn you, everybody, if you're eating your breakfast, Dan Johnson's report does contain some graphic images.
Now, we're all in this together has become a bit of an anthem for what we're going through at the moment. But here's a slightly novel take on the High School Musical hit performed by Asher, the Cockatoo.
Past 6, you're watching BBC Breakfast. Very good morning to you. The range and scale of challenges facing the NHS in the struggle against coronavirus are unprecedented in modern times. Although the number of new confirmed infections in the UK is flattening out on the front line, staff are still facing extremely difficult conditions.
The pressures of dealing with COVID-19 patients, from the very young to the elderly, are vividly illustrated in this extended report from inside the University Hospital in Wishaw. It was compiled by our special correspondent Ed Thomas, producer Noel Titheridge and the cameraman Phil Edwards.
Aren't they beautifully made as well?
Very good workmanship there, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely, lovely touch. Carol is having a look at this morning's weather. Now, that is a beautiful view, I'm guessing, from somebody's back garden, isn't it? Isn't it lovely?
That's right, Lou, yeah.
Making us note that, Carol. Thank you very much.
It's just gone 6:30. You're watching Breakfast this morning with Louise and Dan.
Let's get you right up to date.
For those of you who are worried about that, don't worry, he's not going to be in Harrogate. He's at home, virtually, be cutting the ribbon to open that new hospital. Good morning to you all. Here's a summary of the main stories for you from BBC News. Urging people to wear face masks when out in public could put supplies at risk for healthcare workers.
That's the warning. You might have made a mistake, but you were sort of right as well. It was worthless, briefly.
And worthless, yes.
It's time now to put some of your questions to a GP. All about coronavirus, of course. Joining us now from
Talking about doing your own dental work. I spotted a bit of...
Not recommended.
No, I spotted a bit of the Antiques Roadshow walking past the telly the other day, and one of the people who went in to see Fiona Bruce brought in a Victorian tooth remover.
Oh my! Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay.
I can imagine it. Thank you.
I won't tell you any more details.
Sorry, everybody at home. Saving you. Sally, morning.
Shall I come to your rescue?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of the Victorian tooth remover at all.
Is it, Sally? He's also got to go down before he goes up again. So it's a double challenge, isn't it?
And as he
involved from a hotel room somewhere.
Yeah, I've got to bring in a special thing so he can go and do it in his hotel room. He's going to be in from the beginning, but that's exactly what I need you for, Sal. Right at the end.
I don't cycle really at all. So I'm looking forward to not sitting down for the 3 days after that. The toilet could be interesting.
I'm so excited. I haven't asked Nina yet. Anyway, she's got other more important things to think about, but I will ask her later. Yesterday was crunch time for thousands of businesses who are now able to apply for government grants to pay for furloughing their staff. I know lots of businesses were trying to do this yesterday. Nina, how's it been going?
Yeah.
I know they'll get in touch. Thank you very much. And it does count, of course, you sending me good vibes from your sofa. It's fine.
Let's talk technology because more and more of us, during the lockdown, need it and require as much as possible, but greater opportunities for criminals as well to find ways to scam us all online.
Yeah, the UK's National Cyber Security Centre says it has foiled 2,000 scams relating to the pandemic in the last month alone. And they include, for example...
Put those 6 pieces of advice on our social media today, but just to run you through them quickly: create a separate password for your email, create a strong password, they say use 3 random words, save all your passwords in your browser, turn on 2-factor authentication, update your devices as soon as you can, and the 6th one is to turn on your backup.
Let's catch up. What is it? It's 3 minutes to 7, and Carol has got a look at what looks like a really beautiful start to the day, wherever that is. Morning.
Good.
Very... Sorry, apologies.
It's all right. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
I have to be very excited. It's 7 o'clock. Our headlines for you. Mark, good morning to you. 21st of April, it's Tuesday. Our main story: the latest measures to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, including whether people should be told to wear masks when not at home, will be discussed by the Government Scientific Advisory Committee later today.
NHS providers, that's the body that looks after hospital trusts in England, has warned this could lead to further shortages for staff amid concerns that health workers are still dying from the virus. Andy Moore has this report.
So later today, Parliament is going to reconvene following its Easter recess, but with some changes to comply with social distancing measures.
Yeah, our political growth and local government, he'll be here in about 25 minutes on the programme.
President Donald Trump has said he will sign an executive order to temporarily suspend all immigration to the US because of the coronavirus.
Critics say the government is using the pandemic as an excuse to severely limit immigration. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has this report. Is with us this morning. That's Saba Salman there talking about her sister Rana, and Ridin Hughes, who's the chief executive of the voluntary organisations Disability Group, talking to us from Worthing. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you both very much. And after 7:30, we'll get a bit of reaction to that, all sorts of other things from the government as well. So 7:26, Carol's having a look at the morning. Oh, Carol, thank you very much. We'll see you in half an hour, so thank you.
Hello. Good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Louise and Dan this morning.
Let's get you right up to date. It's 7:30 exactly. Urging people to wear face masks when out in public could put supplies at risk for healthcare workers.
Well, later today, as we were saying, the government's Emergency Scientific Committee, SAGE, they meet and they talk about the latest advice on tackling coronavirus, including whether we should all be wearing face masks when we're out in public. Joining us now from Middlesbrough is
7:41. Now, the price of American crude oil has recovered slightly this morning after being worth less than nothing yesterday, meaning that traders were actually paying to get it taken off their hands. How has it come to this? What does it mean? Nina has the details. Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
That's nice, isn't it? Finally some recognition as well.
I think that's important, isn't it? And as we're this crisis continues, I think we and general public are sort of trying to find all those people who haven't had this sort of moment in the spotlight for the great work they're doing and trying to shine a bit of a light on that.
Now, our next guests are no strangers to big expeditions, and they are taking on another challenge, this time, of course, from the comfort of their very own homes.
Bear Grylls and the astronaut Tim Peake and scouts from all over the country are taking part in a virtual trek to the moon. This is all part of the big night in on Thursday.
Let's have a look as the mission gets underway. Oh, it's adorable, isn't
Lovely,
it?
Yeah.
Let's speak now to Tim and Bear. How far have you got to go in miles, do you know?
To leave it. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Bear Grylls, Tim Peake.
It's wonderful to see you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, complete superstars. Thank you very much indeed.
Enjoy the stairs, enjoy the garage.
Good luck to everyone who's taking part. Thank you so much. And just a reminder, the BBC's Big Night...
I'm regretting it already, but I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Excellent.
Let's find out what the weather's going to be doing for the next few days. Here's Carol. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
Our headlines for you at 8 o'clock. Hello, very good morning. Tuesday, the 21st of April, our main story. The latest measures to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, including whether people should be told to wear masks when not at home, will be discussed by the Government Scientific Advisory Committee later today.
NHS providers, that's the body that looks after hospital trusts in England, has warned that it could lead to further shortages for staff amid concerns that health workers are still dying from the virus. Here's Andy Moore.
Her Majesty the Queen turns 94 today, but the usual gun salutes in London's Hyde Park have been cancelled for the first time in her 68-year reign. 6 minutes past 8. Very good morning. You are watching BBC Breakfast.
Just to let you know, in about 10 minutes' time, we've got a lovely couple who are going to come on and speak to us. Ken, who used to sleep with a photo of his late wife every night in his care home, and then Kia Mariah, who's his carer. She made him a little gift. She presented it to Ken, and it was quite an emotional moment. So we're going to bring the two of them together on BBC Breakfast for you in about 10 minutes' time. It's lovely.
The risks taken by frontline workers treating coronavirus patients have been highlighted by the growing number of deaths.
Last week, Sonia Kagan, a carer who worked at a home in London, died in hospital after spending 2 weeks in intensive care. She was 26 years old.
Well, let's speak to her cousin. Tonight, the challenges we've been talking about facing care workers. We have also, of course, heard some incredible stories about how they are going above and beyond the call of duty to protect vulnerable residents.
When employees at Ken Bembo's home noticed that he slept with a picture of his late wife by his bedside, they decided to make him a very special gift to provide a bit of comfort during the lockdown. Have a little look.
That Kia and other carers like her are now moving in to look after you.
A great experience of that. And I can see you proudly wearing your veteran hat. The picture's not brilliant, but we can see the hat on your head. Give us an idea, what sort of operations were you involved in when you were in the services?
I mean, what an incredible career you had. What inspired you to sign up in the first place? Speak to you both, and you know what, from here it looks like you are family, so thank you very much indeed for joining us, and you've done a great thing here, and Ken, it's lovely to hear you as well. Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your service to both of you as well. Great to talk to you. Oh, what a bunch of superstars, Louise.
Oh, no, lovely. It's time to catch up with the weather, and Carol has got all the details. Lots of things going on, aren't there, Carol? Morning.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Carol.
A very good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Dan and Louise.
Let's bring you some of the main stories this morning. Urging people to wear face masks when out in public could put supplies at risk for healthcare workers.
That's the warning.
It's approaching 8:45. Thanks for being with us this morning. As we've been hearing today, lots of us are looking for ways to support key workers through the pandemic, and 91-year-old Eva Bowers has her own special way of letting people know they're appreciated.
Yeah, she's been paying tribute to the thousands of lorry drivers delivering supplies up and down the country by waving at them from a motorway bridge. Let's hear why she's been doing it. On bridges now. I saw somebody doing it the other day and I was like, what is that? Now I understand what it is.
You might get a bunch of flowers at the end of it, Louise.
I don't need flowers. So you might think that after raising more than £27 million for the NHS by walking 100 lengths of his garden, it might be time for Captain Tom to, I don't know, have a cup of tea, put his feet up, take a rest.
No, not at all. Instead, he's continuing his efforts to support the fight against the pandemic by performing a virtual opening, which takes place later today, of the new Nightingale Hospital in Harrogate.
Well, Captain Tom.
Lucy and Max, from you, I know your dad and your grandfather, Captain Tom, is listening into that. And Captain Tom, we can come to you and Hannah now because, you know, I suppose you've heard a lot of love from all these various celebrities and all the people who are watching you on television and reading about your incredible exploits and your fundraising. And yet, I suppose, hearing from Lucy and Max, that must mean so much to you to hear how proud your family are of what you've been doing the last few weeks.
Something special. You are officially and obviously virtually opening the new NHS Nightingale Hospital in Harrogate. It's going to be quite...
Well, I'd love to get your family's reaction to this as well, because amongst all your other achievements, you're now heading to the top of the charts as well with You'll Never Walk Alone, which we, of course, heard for the first time on Breakfast last week with Michael Bourne. Let's have a little listen. I want to hear what Lucy and Max think about this as well.
I wish you could have seen that. Hannah and Captain Tom were singing along. Max, I want to ask you, Max, though. Your granddad might have a #1. What do you think of that?
Mind blow. You're saying about how crazy the last few weeks have been, but if we'd have come to you a fortnight ago and say, by the way, we'll speak to you live on BBC Breakfast, your dad will have raised over £26 million and he potentially could be #1 in the chart, you'd have gone, shut up, you're an idiot.
Hannah and Captain Tom was watching you listen to it because you're singing along. You just can't help singing to that song, can you?
Impossible.
Captain Tom as well. I wonder what your plans are when this is all over, because you're now a sort of global superstar, but you must be looking forward to getting this wonderful family of yours together just to sort of celebrate what you've managed to achieve together as a family unit.
expand the invitation list. So thank you so much. You're brilliant. Thank you very much. Great to talk to all of you.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? What a brilliant story to come out of what's been a difficult time for so many of us.
Yeah, that's it for today. We'll be back with breakfast tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Have a great day. Stay safe.
See you then.